I'm Josie. I love color, process, and material, and I happen to love making these little things that I call Ptry. You can check out my Instagram if you want to see like the whole history of the Ptry, and you can also check out my YouTube for other Ptry videos. Here's a quick supplies list for what you're gonna need when you wanna make your Ptry. You're gonna need resin. I like art resin. You're gonna need silicone molds, a bowl to mix up your resin, and I like to use a silicone spatula to stir it. I also like a pitcher because it's easier to pour, a torch, a propane torch to get the bubbles out. You are also going to need some safety stuff. I use a NIOSH vapor mask, and I like to put plastic on every possible surface. I would also recommend ventilation. Use a room that you can have a fan running in the window. Don't hang out with it while it's curing. You know, typical common sense safety. There is one kind of ink that works. It's a miracle. Jacquard Piñata White. Friends, I wish this wasn't the only white that worked, but it is. I have used literally every alcohol ink white I could find on the market. And you know what? None of it works. None of it works like the Piñata White. Besides the glorious Piñata White, Jacquard has just recently come out with something that they call an exciter pack. It has new colors, friends, new colors. Oh. And the colors are really great. They sent me some to test them out. We have a beautiful teal. There is something called blue violet. There's a pink, there's a blue, there's a coral. Oh, they're so beautiful. The colors are great. So take a look at those new colors because I think they do beautiful things in Ptry. When you have assembled your supplies and you're ready to go, here are some of the helpful tips to make a beautiful Ptry. First of all, you want to warm up your resin. This is especially important if you live in a cold climate, your resin's been sitting in the basement or in the garage, and that will really help a lot of things. It'll help the mixing, it'll cut down on micro bubbles, it will make the ink flow a little bit better, so that's an important first step. You'll want to mix your resin for a very long time. I would recommend 4 minutes, and if you don't mix it long enough, then it won't cure right, and then it'll be a sticky mess forever. So make sure you mix it, don't skip that step. I like to use a pitcher to pour my resin into the molds, and I pour the molds about halfway. If I pour it more than halfway, I can have problems with the curing and with bubbles, and also sometimes the resin will stick to the mold. Once you've poured the resin into your molds, I like to let it rest for 15 to 30 minutes. The reason why I do that is because I find that the ink flows in a way that I prefer, and it also lets any bubbles kind of come to the surface, and then I can attack those bubbles with the torch. So just like boop, 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 and then you're ready for the ink. I like to add the white first. I also buy the 4-ounce bottles, so I use these little droppers to add the ink. And you can also buy little dropper bottles, which I use quite a lot of as well. The ratio for white to color is usually about 1 to 2. So 1 part white, 2 parts color. So I'll do a drop of white and a couple of drops of color. And then I'll alternate a few times. I figured out that it's about 35 drops total for a 3-inch piece, and then about 125 drops total for a 6-inch piece. But there is some variation there, and you can explore ways that you can make your style come alive with your quantity of ink. Now comes the tricky part. You need to leave that stuff alone. You have to wait like 20 hours. So don't go mess with it, don't go poke it, don't go try to see if it's ready to come out. It won't be. You need to wait until it's hardened. And then 20 hours later, it'll be like Christmas morning, and you get to see what fantastical creations you have made. If you have mastered basic Ptry, you're ready to move on to advanced Ptry. There are a lot of different cool ways that you can use Ptry. I've seen people make jewelry and plugs, you know, for like the ears. I've seen people make clocks and crazy shaped wall hangings. It's amazing what you can do with this technique and resin, especially if you have any knowledge on how to build a mold. So, you know, for sure, my recommendation is always to just go crazy and dream big and try all the things. Thanks for watching. Hope you learned something. Please let me know what you have made. And if you want to see more of what I do, you can check me out on Instagram or Facebook or my website.